Today we have streaming platforms releasing hundreds and hundreds of movies every year, and yet somehow I still watch old movies. But before we start to debate which are better or worse, I would like to clarify that this is just a personal preference. I personally watch old movies because they feel like a window into another world, and for some reason, to me, modern movies just can't achieve that. I thought about it a lot, and I think I found some of the causes behind this. First of all, we are living in a very fast-paced world with a lot of screens and commercials. Elements that I will say during the years made the audiovisual experience very aggressive. Today's movies are not swiping you gently into a story, they aggressively and constantly try to get your attention, with fast-paced editing, blurry backgrounds, and CGI. All these elements just create some sort of barrier that never let me actually enjoy the movie. The suspension of disbelief never kicks in, and in short, I know I am a viewer watching actors acting in a movie, because there are all these elements constantly pushing you to pay attention to prefigurated details. And in some way, I think this creates some sort of viewing fatigue, because creating movies, like commercials, makes them feel just like any other content on a screen. It's not inherently digital's fault, it's more of a cinematography problem. Traditional movies have wider angles, longer depth of field, and less cuts, giving you the chance to explore the frame. They might feel a bit slower at first, but at the same time, they build a world in which the characters are living in, giving solid grounds to the story. Back in the day, directors used to prioritize camera movement and actor performances, which meant that even a single shot could have lasted several minutes without cuts. The same scene today will be probably shot with a series of close-ups, with line and reaction. But sometimes it's just not as effective.
But there's some times when you want to have a character react to something that's said that's odd, so we don't cut to the reactions. Those kind of things make the difference between a joke working or not. So let the audience discover it, not you don't show the audience the joke.
Somehow I feel responsible because if my father hadn't been driving the car, then...
Oh, you mustn't feel that way. If it had to happen, it was more or less ideal. A warm night, full moon, island in the Mediterranean.
At the height of the season, what more could anyone ask?
Of course, I'm completely at your disposal.
Having the full picture can better represent the relationship between the characters and also offer a much better view of the actor performances and body language. But if the system was so good, then why it was abandoned for modern cinematography? Actually, there are multiple reasons. First of all, there's a technology reason, which is that back in the day, with film, they usually had one camera and it was very big and difficult to move around. Even making a basic frame could have been challenging, since there were no reflex viewfinders. Considering this, directors had to make smart choices to use as little film as possible and get as much as they could. Working this way also meant less cuts in the editing room, which might not sound like a big deal now, but it was back in the day. With the advent of reflex viewfinders and smaller film cameras, things became less complicated. And with the advent of digital, costs went down even more, which made having more cameras on set a lot easier. This, combined with digital editing, made the workflow much more flexible, opening the way for experimentation. It's all great, don't get me wrong, but this new freedom also means that now it's much easier for studio executives to make requests during productions and change things in post-production. Which takes me to my final point, which is that a lot of movies today are shot for multiple platforms. In fact, people might not watch a movie in a cinema at all and decide to view it on their laptops or smartphones. And considering that wide shots and medium shots don't transpose that well on smaller screens, a lot of time they get cut out. Now, to be precise, there was a similar problem even back in the day with television and VHS, The difference is that back in the day, it wouldn't change completely the way the movie was shot, because it would have been later edited and cropped specifically for those releases. We could argue that this is something that we could definitely do even today, but we don't because why spending the money for 2 edits?